In the years following Queen Elizabeth II's passing, the British monarchy has found itself in a state of fragile transition. King Charles III, though stepping into his role dutifully, has faced challenges in balancing the weight of tradition with the realities of a modern world. Yet, even as he works to preserve the dignity of the crown, another figure has emerged on the fringes, quietly but persistently attempting to reshape the royal narrative in her own image: Meghan Markle. Recent reports suggest that Meghan is positioning herself to oversee, or more accurately, to redefine the duties once synonymous with the Queen's enduring legacy. While Prince Harry takes an increasingly passive role, Meghan is allegedly pushing forward with calculated precision, presenting herself as a global figure of authority, compassion, and leadership. For critics, this ambition is not only misguided but outright insulting, a brazen attempt to eclipse the memory of Queen Elizabeth and to sideline the monarchy itself. This article delves into the growing controversy: Meghan's Hollywood-driven monarchy, the sidelining of Harry, the insult to Elizabeth's legacy, and the worldwide repercussions of her alleged power grab. Meghan's story has often been framed as one of struggle and triumph, an outsider who married into a centuries-old institution and then left to find her voice. But beneath the polished narrative lies a more controversial reality, one in which every move has been carefully curated to maximize her visibility, power, and control. Even before her marriage to Harry, Meghan had demonstrated a sharp instinct for branding. From her lifestyle blog The Tig to her acting career on Suits, she was no stranger to shaping a public image. Yet her entry into the royal family presented her with something much greater: a platform that transcended Hollywood and placed her in direct proximity to one of the most revered monarchies in history. Once she and Harry exited the UK in 2020, Meghan's strategy became even clearer. Deals with Netflix, Spotify, and Penguin Random House transformed her into both a storyteller and a brand in her own right. What raised eyebrows, however, was how these projects often revolved around her grievances with the royal family, grievances she reframed into a narrative of victimhood and resilience. Now, insiders suggest Meghan is moving beyond storytelling into something more ambitious, positioning herself as the natural heir to the Queen's symbolic role. Not as a monarch in title, but as a global authority figure. In this ambitious narrative, Harry's role has noticeably diminished. Once the beloved prince known for his candor, humor, and devotion to service, Harry now appears muted, his public persona subdued in comparison to Meghan's forceful presence. Observers note that Harry has shifted from leading to following. At public events, Meghan often takes center stage, speaking with confidence while Harry stands by her side. During interviews, Meghan dominates the narrative, with Harry interjecting sparingly. Critics argue this is no accident. It is the result of Meghan deliberately pushing Harry into the background, reshaping the Sussex brand so that she, not he, emerges as the face of their enterprise. This shift is particularly tragic when contrasted with Harry's past. He was once the soldier who served 2 tours in Afghanistan, the prince who championed mental health awareness, and the founder of the Invictus Games. Today, he is seen by many as a supporting character in Meghan's unfolding drama. If Meghan succeeds in overseeing duties that echo Queen Elizabeth's, Harry risks being remembered not as a prince with his own legacy, but as a man who surrendered his identity to his wife's ambitions. No matter how Meghan frames her ambitions, the comparison to Queen Elizabeth II is unavoidable and deeply controversial. Elizabeth reigned for 70 years with humility, duty, and quiet strength. She rarely granted interviews, avoided self-promotion, and saw her role not as a personal brand, but as a lifelong service to her people. Her constancy provided stability during wars, political upheavals, and cultural revolutions. Meghan, by contrast, has been accused of embodying the opposite values: self-promotion, grievance, and opportunism. For her to suggest she is equipped to take on duties associated with Elizabeth's legacy strikes many as not only arrogant, but profoundly disrespectful. Royal commentators argue that Meghan's aspirations trivialize Elizabeth's sacrifice. Where the Queen embodied service, Meghan represents self-interest. Where the Queen united, Meghan divides. To equate the two is to insult the institution Elizabeth preserved with her entire life. Unlike Elizabeth's traditional monarchy, Meghan's is unmistakably Hollywood. Her appearances are often accompanied by glamorous fashion statements, polished PR campaigns, and media rollouts designed for maximum exposure. Projects such as the Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan highlight her ability to merge celebrity culture with royal mystique. Yet this blending of Hollywood and royalty has raised alarms among traditionalists, who see it as a cheapening of the monarchy's gravitas. Critics argue that Meghan's vision of monarchy is not rooted in duty, but in performance. It is about being seen, being celebrated, and being financially compensated. This Hollywood monarchy is less about service and more about spectacle, a stark contrast to the quiet dignity Queen Elizabeth represented. Central to Meghan's narrative is her portrayal of herself as a victim of the monarchy's rigid traditions and the British press's relentless scrutiny. Through interviews with Oprah Winfrey, high-profile articles, and televised documentaries, she has consistently positioned herself as misunderstood, mistreated, and silenced. Yet detractors argue this narrative is less about truth and more about strategy. By casting herself as a victim, Meghan clears the path to cast herself also as a reformer, the one who can fix what the monarchy could not. This strategy allows her to justify assuming a quasi-royal role outside the monarchy. If the monarchy failed her, then she can present herself as the alternative, a compassionate, modern figure willing to serve in ways the institution refused to. Harry's silence in the face of Meghan's growing dominance is telling. Sources close to the couple claim Harry leans heavily on Meghan's counsel, often deferring to her decisions. Public appearances show him as a quiet supporter rather than a leader. This transformation has not gone unnoticed by royal watchers, who lament the loss of the Harry they once admired, the independent prince who could hold his own in the public arena. The silencing of Harry is symbolic. It reflects not only Meghan's control but also the dismantling of his once strong identity as a royal. The man who once said, "I just want to be myself," now seems absorbed into Meghan's carefully curated brand. Meghan's alleged ambition to oversee duties reminiscent of Queen Elizabeth's has implications far beyond the UK.